Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's press conference. We're starting out with wide receiver CJ Williams. We'll take questions using the raise hand function on Zoom, and we will call on you as those come in. Ben, you're up first.
Morning, CJ. Just want to get your thoughts on San Jose State's defense, their secondary, just kind of what you know about those guys so far.
Yeah, great question. We kind of went over them this morning. I know their defensive line, they get after them. They bring some pressure, different stunts and games. I think the defensive backs alone, they're newer guys that maybe weren't there and played a lot last year. So a younger group, I guess you could say. They have a second year guy and a fifth year guy. They had someone transfer out that was a pretty legitimate cornerback last year. So just kind of going to go through the film study this week, really get a feel for them. I think they drop in his own coverage a lot, so we won't see a whole lot of man, which is what I think we specialize as a wide receiver group. But just looking forward to going against these guys. Obviously, they have something to prove, and we all do as well. So it'll be a fun game. Yeah, Rose.
1 second. Apologies. All right, Troy, you're up next.
Modern technology is a wonderful thing,
Right.
especially when it works. CJ, we've seen growth from the passing game over the last couple of weeks, and we saw a couple of deep shots, one against BC, a couple against Virginia, and you blew up as well against the Cavaliers. What are some things that the wide receiving core has been able to show, especially over the last game, that it might not have been able to show or did not show throughout the first three?
Yeah, I mean, wide receiver is probably the hardest position, not the hardest position, but it's an unfortunate position in the fact that everything has to go right for you, you even to make a difference on the field, right? The offensive line has to block their butts off, which ours does a great job of. The quarterback has to go through the reads, make the right progression, and obviously deliver a great ball. And the play call has to be right against the defense that they play. I think wide receiver is one of those positions that, while it's frustrating, it's completely it's rewarding, right, when it all goes right because it feels like the team is doing well, the offense as a whole unit is doing well as well. And then from our room specifically, I mean, it's just being consistent, right? Coming out of practice and getting the rhythm down with Ben, giving everyone, coaching wise, Coach Reich, Coach Bynum, guys like that, giving them confidence that we're going to go out there on Saturday and be in the right spots and make the plays when it comes our way, which I think we've done a proficient job of so far when it does come our way. And just continuing to do that day in and day out and getting that rhythm right with Ben and obviously giving him confidence in delivering us balls, which I think Bryce did a really good job of this last Saturday. I did a really good job of last Saturday, and Caden's done a really good job of as well. So
Thank you, Troy. John?
CJ, you and I talked previously, and I appreciate you had a lot of really good insights for our halftime piece a couple of weeks ago. I want to everybody learns things each step in life doing a certain thing. I mean, your vocation right now is catching passes and playing receiver. Kind of tell us what you've learned at your prior stops that make you maybe better now, maybe working with a quarterback, learning how to develop that rhythm, because I assume you picked up some things at USC and Wisconsin that are useful, or maybe things to do, not to do now
definitely.
that you've gotten here at Stanford.
Yes, sir. I mean, I think when we spoke, right, life is a journey and it's all about perspective and how you take it as a whole. For me, I think the biggest thing I learned as a receiver, and this probably doesn't even correlate to the specific of the position, but maybe the game of football as a whole, is don't ride the waves of football, right? And the ball's not coming your way. Maybe you have a one catch game like I did that Boston College game. Don't ride the wave and don't get down on yourself, and don't get down on the offense and feel less confident in your position on the team and your role on the offense. And that's something I learned at Wisconsin and USC. Obviously, had a very, very good receiver room at USC and probably didn't see the field as much as I wanted to. But fortunate enough to see it, obviously, which is a blessing in its own right. But not riding the wave of being like, hey, I'm not playing and this is extremely frustrating. Like still loving it and loving the game of football and being grateful for being out there. Then at Wisconsin, obviously going through hardships in the offense as a whole, losing quarterbacks and things like that, not riding the wave of not having the situation be perfect because it never is going to be perfect or ideal in life, specifically in the game of football. So I think that's an off the field thing that I've really learned. And then just I think the most crucial thing probably between a quarterback and a receiver is the relationship and getting to know them off the field. So I think that's something Ben and myself have done really well this year. and getting to know each other and knowing why football is important to each other, like why we love it, what's important to us in life. And those are, I think, things that carry outside of football and in life as well.
Just a quick follow-up. I mean, obvious question, but he's an elder statesman too in the game of football, so I assume that helps.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, me and Ben had a legitimate conversation about what he was doing, maybe during his time off, once he retired, and how he was working and helping at hospitals, and how much it's important to him to play the game of football, and for him to be present in it as well. You know what I mean? You only get so many opportunities to play this great game. 13 guaranteed in a season, or 12 guaranteed in a season, 13 if you're fortunate enough, and then obviously so many in your life. So him coming back and being able to play, obviously being an older guy and experiencing it, like it means a lot to me, and I think the offense as a whole.
Thank you, John. Ben?
Yeah, you had 9 receptions for over 100 yards on Saturday. I think you could look at those numbers and it certainly appear from those stats that you're getting more settled into the offense and feeling more comfortable. Would you agree with that? Are you feeling more settled in with each passing game?
Oh yeah, I mean definitely. I think it's every offense you go to, right? Whether it's a West Coast offense where you're trying to spread the ball, or a pro style offense where you're really trying to develop the run game and play off of that. I mean, it's all about getting comfortable and feeling out the play caller and feeling out, what the goal is at the end of the day. And I feel like I'm doing that, and I'm fitting into my role pretty nicely here too as well.
Thank you, Ben. Back to John.
CJ, your coach talks a lot about winning the rep, winning the play for receivers such as yourself. I mean, we saw a lot of intermediate routes from you against Virginia. What's the key to winning and getting 9 receptions and catching almost all your targets? Is it the break? Is it time? I mean, the timing of the jump if it's high. I mean, or does it? I mean, I assume maybe it varies from throw to throw.
Yeah, it definitely varies as far as football wise, and I mean, I think the biggest thing is mentality, right? I mean, winners win and losers lose, right? Whether you win the rep or you're going to lose the rep, it's going to show on film. For me, it's a mentality, right? Going in there, being confident, knowing that, on third down, this ball is probably going to come my way, specifically on intermediate routes, anything third and 9 to 10, anything in that range, and third and short, obviously the ball's going to come my way, and taking a sense of pride in that. And I think Virginia, I mean, it kind of showed a lot of third down conversions. I've had a lot of third down conversions in the past. I just take a lot of pride in being my guy man to man and being someone of confidence for the quarterback and Ben in this situation. So yeah, confidence and mindset.
Troy?
What's your sense of the mood of the guys right now heading into this week?
Yeah. I always say that rivalry games, right, which this is one, like they make college football. It doesn't matter if you're 0-3, 0-2, 3-0, like college football is rivalry football, and that's what makes it so special, right? So I think there's a sense of animosity and urgency for us to win this game and play at a high level, and hopefully dominate them this weekend, which I know we have the ability to do. So I don't think we ever, became gun shy after this Virginia game. I know it's a tough loss and things like that, but that's college football, right? You got to get up the next morning, Sunday morning, come to the facility, practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and go take care of business on Saturday. So, like I said, rivalry games, college football, that's what they are, and you got to take a lot of pride in them. So,
Thank you, John. Ben?
Yeah, you weren't here last year, but for those that were here last year, you guys, didn't beat them; they beat you guys. Is that something that's come up at all? Has that created any, from your sense, any extra sense of fuel to the fire here to get even after what happened last year?
oh, definitely. I mean, I think we spoke this morning as an offense, and we just talked about how as an offense we didn't really do what we wanted to do last year, or them. But obviously, I'm here now, so we didn't do what we wanted to do last year. And I know we take a lot of pride in pushing guys around, especially guys that we personally think we're better than, physically, mentally, athletically, things like that. So yeah, there's fuel in that fire right there, to go show them who the better team is, and to stop, a lot of their great players, of course, but, really dominate and put the pedal on them.
Thank you, Ben. John?
CJ Bryce had a really nice game as well. I mean, with the deep balls, and he's had a really nice year in year number 6 for him. Talk about his influence on you and maybe other receivers in the room that have you learned something from, or kind of what you've drawn on just here in year 1 for you at Stanford.
Yeah, I think Bryce is the epitome of that guy that never really rode the waves of football. Obviously, last year and probably the years prior didn't really go the best for him or ideal for him. But I mean, he stuck it out. He came back this year, and he's obviously playing some of his best football he has in his 6 years. And I think us as a receiver group, we can really respect that. And the fact that he's being so efficient while he's making these plays, obviously. And he's become this deep target guy for us that's able to stretch the field and really be a leader, you know what I mean, in his play. Bryce doesn't talk a whole lot. I mean, he doesn't really talk a whole lot of smack or things like that. So he just lets it show in his play, and he goes out there and he's a great guy and a great leader for us.
Back to Ben.
Yeah, 5 of your remaining 8 games are going to be at home. Just kind of talk about the opportunity that presents stuff for you guys starting this weekend with finally more games remaining at home than away.
Yeah. Playing home football games, I mean, there's nothing like it, right? To be able to play in front of your own fans. As much as we love playing in front of hostile environments, it's always good to stay on the West Coast and to enjoy, our bed for an extra night that Thursday night. And then Friday, go to a hotel and be together and play in front of our fans and our family that Saturday. And I think we all take a lot of pride in playing for something and playing for respect and respecting, our home field, respecting our fans and the journey that they made to come to the games and our family, all of them flying and taking trips to come see us. So, I mean, we're playing with a level of respect, I think, when we come at home, which we're not when we're not playing at home. But I think more so when we're here. Obviously, you want to win home football games and you want to do it in a high level manner.
Any other questions for CJ?
Uh,
John?
I'll throw a last one in. CJ, watching the NFL, what receivers do you like to watch? Maybe because you have a personal relationship or because you just like the way they play?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people saw it last night. It was Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, he's a baller, obviously a modern day guy. That's my big bro right there. I came in, shadowed him when I was an eighth grader coming out of high school. And ever since that point, I really looked up to him. I respected his level of play and the competitiveness that he comes out there with. So obviously, I think that's a great one to look at. I love Keenan Allen. It's been a guy, obviously West Coast guy from the school down the way here, but he's a guy that I think I've respected because I think our games are very similar, and he plays with the right mindset, and he's a multifaceted dude in life in general. So I respect him. I love his game, and he's still doing it at a high level. So those are really the two for me.
All right. Thank you, CJ, so much. We'll be right back with Zach Bucky. All right, everybody, we are back with defensive lineman Zach Bucky. We will take questions using the raise hand feature on Zoom, calling you as those come in. And Ben Parker, you're up first.
Morning, Zach. Just want to get your thoughts on San Jose State's offense and the challenges that they pose after having studied them for at least a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they're a very talented team. They got, obviously a lot of pieces back from last year where they gave us a run for our money at the end of the year. And obviously, we're still kind of very upset about that. So, kind of just addressing that. They have a very talented wide receiver, I believe he's number 10, who's going to be kind of guy they get the ball to. And then obviously, they return some O-line pieces. Their quarterback's fantastic quarterback. He's come back as well. So, they'll pose a good challenge for us in the run and the pass.
Thank you, Ben. Next, we'll go to Troy.
Yeah, Zach, defensively, lessons learned on that side of the ball from Saturday's results, and how could some of those lessons potentially be applied this week against the Spartans?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that was not a good defensive performance in any shape, any way, shape, or form. So we have a chip on our shoulder after watching the film yesterday, and obviously was not it was not our standard. It was not the kind of football that we've been playing here for the last 3 years. We've learned a lot. We did a lot of introspection, a lot of thinking about how do we address this and how do we come out today and practice for our first pad practice of the week and be like, how do we move past Virginia, remember what we learned, but also address the new enemy on Saturday.
Thank you, Troy. Ben?
Yeah, just talk about Coach Kalaji. What has he most been kind of emphasizing with your unit kind of at this point of the year right now, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, right now, obviously, we didn't put our best stuff on the field on Saturday. So right now, Coach K is really big on just getting back to the basics, especially just getting physical and violent vertical in our gaps, Virginia posed a good challenge in their kind of zone scheme stretches. They did a good job getting up to second level and kind of gapping us out. So this next week, we're going to be very big on this is a team that's going to have wide splits. We're going to be very spread out. We just got to get vertical attack and win our one-on-one matchups.
John?
You come from a football family. Talk about the influences on you and your path to Stanford.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, this place was a pretty big deal to me. I grew up with, I think every weekend we were up here watching football when we could. And obviously, as someone who grew up with a dad who played here, my whole dream was always go to Stanford. He's been a major influence and impact on me my entire life. He's still like my hero at the end of the day, 22 years later. And obviously, playing this game is a big deal because he had Coach Walsh when he was at Stanford. And growing up, Coach Walsh was always like the coaching legend in my house. There's a picture of him up in our family room, like nice hand-drawn portrait. Like he's mentioned him in his book, I believe. And my dad's always like, "Oh, here's Coach Walsh." Like mentioned me and Brad Badger in like page 270 of his football book. So it's a big deal for me to hopefully win this Bill Walsh legacy game and kind of bring the trophy back and maybe have a full circle moment for our family here at Stanford.
Just a quick follow-up. He was offensive line, your defensive line, just be different than dad, or just kind of, I mean, you can maybe explain body types and athletic gifts and all that, but how'd that happen?
Yeah, honestly, I have no idea. Growing up, I was my freshman year of high school, I was his backup defensive back on our freshman football team. So college football wasn't really a prospect, you could say, at that point, but kind of was just, all right, what do I like playing here? Where do I like playing football? And I didn't like blocking. That was never really my thing. So dad was not a huge fan of that, but he figured out I really did like rushing the passer. So sophomore year, he's like, hey, why don't you try playing some D tackle? I wasn't very big. I was about 200 pounds, so a little on the flimsy side, but yeah, got back to playing some D line, and it kind of just went from there. Obviously, little brothers are kind of a mix of both. I got one brother at UCLA who's playing D line as well, so he followed in my shoes, not my dad's. But my brother is going to Michigan State next year. He's a high schooler. He's a tackle, so he's the golden child. He's the one that gets fed first around the house. So that's kind of how that played out.
Thank you, John. Troy?
Fall quarter has begun, and that means the students are back on the farm. Small but enthusiastic crowd for BC, but now the students are going to be in the mix for this one. What are you expecting on Saturday with the students getting the chance to finally be in the house for this one?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's awesome to have our students back. It was a great crowd for BC. I thought it was really energetic, but like you said, it was a little smaller just due to the fact that there weren't students on campus. And now that they're back, I'm really excited. I know there's been a lot of really positive energy, both with Luck and Coach Reich being here, that there's a renewed enthusiasm and optimism in the program. I know there's a big tailgate going on in Meyer Green for the game, so hopefully the students come and check that out. And yeah, I'm looking forward to 4:30 being a very, very strong, very enthusiastic, and a very loud crowd. Hopefully, get them off their game and be that home field advantage that we need.
John?
Zach, you got a sack against Virginia. Obviously, last year the multiple sack game in the big game. What's the key to getting sacks? Why does one D lineman get a few more than another one? Maybe that guy's a run stop guy, but in your words, in your mind, what makes a guy get more sacks than the next guy?
Yeah, I mean, that was very, very kind of you to mention that Virginia sack is a sack. I mean, that was a case them out of bounds kind of thing, but hey, I'll take it any way I can get it. I don't think it's any one individual person. Obviously, like, if you get your shot, you got to take it. But our defense does a great job of getting us in spots to play. Coach April and Coach Thompson both kind of scheme it up to where there's always gonna be one guy free, and if you be that one guy free, you gotta go. Don't miss the layup, as Coach K would say. So that's the big thing. I mean, obviously we have a bunch of talented D linemen, and I'm pretty sure you'll all see us at some point in the year. Show out when we need to.
Thank you, Ben.
One of those talented defensive linemen is Clay Patterson. Just talk about what it's been like getting to play with him, what's he been bringing, and just having him as a teammate. Yeah.
Yeah, so Clay and I actually live together. We live in a little 2-bedroom apartment over on El Camino, and it's great because it's like I get to watch him at like his process, and he's kind of really inspired me. He's one of the hardest workers I've ever met in my life. I mean, he's always rolling out or doing something when I get back home, and I'm just when you want to turn on the TV and kind of rot there a little bit, you're like, no, Clay's downstairs getting better, so how can I get better too? And that's kind of the biggest way. Is he's a great leader, he's a great motivator, and he's a great guy, great friend, and a great guy to be around.
John?
Can you share with us what your individual preparation is in a game week? I mean, are there clips of the guy or guys you're going up against? I mean, I know weeks may vary, but typically, what is your individual preparation for your matchups on Saturday?
Yeah, I like to watch the guys I'm going against, kind of see like, okay, what do they do well? What do they do not so well? Where can my individual skill set kind of take advantage of what they do? One thing I love to watch is just watch the O-line and see like, all right, how do they move? How do they get out of their stance? Like, where are their eye? I'm a big believer like their eyes tell the whole story. So I kind of watch their eyes, their helmet. Do they have like sometimes guys kind of have like a tell of like, hey, when their stance is tighter, it's run. When it's wider, it's pass. So I like to go through that, and obviously with watch tape with Clay is the tape master. So whenever I can get up there with Clay and just kind of pick his brain and see what he sees, that's also a great opportunity.
Troy?
Matt Rose has been a tackling machine throughout much of the season, and we had tackling machines last year, and Guy Finn and Tristan as well. Guys racking up, double-digit tackles from the linebacker spot. When that happens, when you got the linebackers making that many tackles, is that a direct indication of you guys up front helping to do your job? And when you see stats like that are getting put up by the linebackers, what sort of things go through your head?
Yeah, I mean, I love to see it. Obviously, we had some legendary linebacker play here for years with Tristan and GB, and now Rose and Hunter Barth has really taken on, and Jaw as well as taken on that mantle of kind of like just being a downhill, very physical unit. And obviously, there's a bunch of great players out there, but when, a guy makes a great play, it also means that the 10 other guys did their job too. And that's just great to see as a defense when you see those negative plays, those TFLs, those sacks. It means as a defense, we're being fast, we're swarming, we're playing violent, playing physical, and we're getting the job done.
Thank you, Troy. Ben?
Yeah, I kind of want to get your thoughts on your own running back, Micah Ford. He didn't have the game he wanted to have against Virginia, but half the game so far he's rushed for over 100 yards. Just from a defensive line perspective, what do you feel makes him such a difficult back to stop, and where have you seen the most growth in his game from last year to this year?
Yeah, I mean, he's just a beast. Like when you watch him play, even watch him in games, I'm just like, wow, that, 20's a stud. And he runs hard, he runs downhill, and he's so shifty in the phone booth. And that's just so tough as a D lineman because you get your gap right here and you're kind of peeking and you think he's gonna, cut back, then you make the mistake, you look over here and he's gone. So as a D lineman, it's great to like go against that because it gives you so much discipline of like, okay, the back's right here. But I know if I try to tackle him and shift over real quick, he's just gonna cut right here. And that's where Mike has been great. And also he's a guy that you got to wrap up and run your feet because if you try to arm tackle that guy, he's gonna run you in the ground. And we have a lot of good tape and up practice and training camp of that happening. So yeah, he's a great kid, works his ass off, and he's great to be around because he has that kind of like Clay, that work ethic of like, how do I get better today? How do I get better right now? And it's very inspiring to be around.
John?
Zach, your head coach told Troy and me before the game against Virginia, getting pressure would be a big key to the game. And then we asked him yesterday, how would you evaluate it? And he said, well, in part, the quarterback was really adept at evading pressure. I'll ask you the same question. How do you think you guys did as far as that objective of getting the pressure you wanted to get? Was the line stout, or was it really the quarterback just being advanced and being able to move his feet and get away from the rush?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, obviously that quarterback was very impressive. I mean, I've played a lot of great quarterbacks for the years here at Stanford. We played Caleb Williams. We played obviously that guy next week, Walker Egan's also very good. I think that guy is up there with all of them. I mean, he was very good at kind of like making guys miss and also just making something out of nothing. Obviously, they hadn't allowed a sack yet. I mean, that the sack that I had was very kind of like, I don't even know if I call it a sack. But yeah, he's great. And then the line's also very well coached. Coach Heffernan was our line coach for a couple of years, so we were familiar with like their kind of scheme and style, but very well coached unit, very talented quarterback, very talented O-line. And we need to bring our best next week because that was not our standard performance last week.
Any other questions for Zach? All right, thank you so much for attending today's press conference. We hope